All right, we'll open it up again. Come to Leslie, Tecia, Claudia, and Marion. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Like to talk about the fights?
Leslie, do you feel a sense of redemption after that close Sarah Kaufman fight you had the last time that didn't go your way, now that you picked up the win this time?
I'm very happy that I got the win this time, obviously, I guess, because that's the goal. But my sense of redemption will come when I meet Sarah Kaufman for redeeming that from that fight.
Well, that was my next question, actually. Are you going to stay at this weight class, or are you going to go back up to face her?
Well, I do believe that I've got another fight at this weight class coming up. Shannon says I do.
Yeah. She's going to fight Barb Holmchuk for 125 pounds. That's going to be a good fight.
And that's a very good incentive to stay in this weight class.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Leslie, Jeremy Johnson with that MMA show. We talked earlier on my show about you wanting to finish this fight tonight. Didn't quite go that way. So how do you look at this for your next fight against Barb Honchak? How would you change your fight pattern and prepare?
You know, I told you last time that we were doing the interview that my goal is to become a finisher. You know, I'm glad everyone loves exciting fights, and I enjoy exciting fights, but I want to freaking finish. That's what I really want to do. And you know, I came a lot closer, I feel like, in this fight. There was an armbar that I almost had. There were a couple times, you know, when I had her, you know, a little wobbly. And so I'm going to work on being able to capitalize on those opportunities. I need to be. That's the next progression, and my goal of becoming the best fighter that I can be is learning how to do that.
And I also want to mention that Claudia will be facing Carlos Barza. Anybody else have any questions for these athletes?
The back.
Okay.
Dave.
Back here. So it's for Tecia, pretty tough fight today. What do you expect coming up next?
I have no clue what's going to come up next. I'm just really happy that I was able to, win tonight. I'm just looking forward to the next one, and I'm going to take it fight by fight. Hopefully one day, make it to a championship fight. But I'm just beginning, so I'm going to take it fight by fight.
Miriam, question for you. Did you have confidence that you were going to be able to finish in this fight, or were you thinking that it would kind of maybe go to a decision round? It seems like you've been able to finish your last couple of fights, not being in any trouble or anything, but being able to push through. And when it seems like it could go a decision way, all of a sudden you kind of come out with these finishes. Is this something that you try to do, is finish your fights every single time?
Yeah, if I don't finish the fight, then I don't know if I won or not in my mind, because I always doubt myself. So if it's finished, then I'm like, okay, they're down there and I'm up here, so I must have won. So yeah, that works. But yeah, I always lack confidence, and I never assume that I win. And even when I win, I don't step away from that win like, yeah, I'm good. I'm like, no, I need to look at tape, and I need to see where I made mistakes, because that's going to be a problem in the future, and I don't like that. So I'm kind of just negatively obsessive. So, yeah, does that answer your question?
Stay humble. Yep, gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I've got a question from Mark with Wombat Sports, representing him tonight. The development of possibly a 155 lightweight division? Is that in your future?
It's possible. I mean, we talk about it. We'd like to really develop these weight classes before we venture out. And I also think that we need to find our partner in the broadcasting so that we can put more shows on and things like that. So yeah, it's something we certainly think about in the future. We just don't have anything set in stone at this time. But when we will make that movement forward. Yeah, but everybody deserves a shot. So that's what we hope for anyway.
Absolutely.
Claudia, how do you feel about getting a title shot now against Carlos Barza?
Well, I had that chance before, and then I broke my nose in January. So that's one thing that I really want, and I'm so excited for that. I'm waiting for that. I'm now thinking about that, and I will be ready. I'll be ready for that.
Thank you.
Ms. Nakamoto, quick question. How does it feel making more money tonight in the third MMA fight than winning the WBC and WMC and IFMA world titles combined? How much do you love your employer?
I just love you guys. I love you guys. I'm blown away. It's nice to start to not be raggedy anymore. So it's kind of hard to wrap my mind around, but I'm enjoying it for sure. Thank you so much. Actually, when they started playing the beginning of the show on the back screens, I started crying because it's just really amazing to be a part of this. It's such a huge honor.
We're delighted to have you.
Thank you so much.
We love our athletes. That's what this is about. So.
We love our paychecks, brother.
Yeah. And the belt. It's two things we always count on. We love. It's the belt and the paycheck.
I have to say, I have 5 belts, and I felt the Invicta belt, and none of those belts compare to the Invicta belt. The quality of the belt, like my belts they're like plasticky, leather, cheap. Can I say this out loud?
No, absolutely not. You cannot say that about the WBC.
They're really cheap compared to the Invicta belt, and it's just really beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
The other thing the athletes always want is the regirl outfits. I forgot about that. Yeah. She's offering to be a regirl.
Just to get one.
Just to get one.
I will.
This question is for Tecia. Tecia, great fight tonight. Both you and Rose put on an amazing show. I was very impressed with both of you tonight. Were you surprised that Rose wanted to, or actually stood that much with you?
A little bit, because usually when people say they're going to stand with you, that means they're going to really try to take you down. But I knew that she came from a martial arts background and she had a good stand-up, but we just weren't able to see it yet. So her actually doing it with me made it really fun for me. I liked that most of the fight was in the middle of the cage as opposed to being on the cage. It was a lot different from the other fights I had, and her skill level was a lot different. So it was an honor to fight her, and to beat her was really nice too. But I'm just really happy about the fight, and I think it went how I wanted it to go.
Tecia, to follow up on that, there were a couple of times when Rose went for submissions, and of course we all saw the flying armbar last time. Was that something in the back of your mind worried about, or did you feel like you were never in any trouble at any point?
I felt like I was in trouble in the first round with the armbar. That was the scariest moment of the fight. But actually when she moved it like about underneath her arm, I thought it was going to get even tighter. It was tight, but that actually made it a little bit easier for me to get out. So I was surprised that I was able to get out. It made me more confident in my jiu-jitsu now, I guess. But it was a really tough fight. That was the only point where I felt like I was in trouble. Besides that, I felt very comfortable. And it was definitely a tough fight, but I felt really good about it.
Thank you.
Got a question for Leslie from Mark. He apparently thinks that it's you and Barb on check next time. Next.
That has been confirmed.
Y'all may or have already discussed that, and I apologize for being late. And what are your expectations about that bout, and how you feel about it going in?
Barb's name is Little Warrior, so I expect she's going to bring it. I think that she's solid in all areas, but tonight Jennifer Maia was solid in all areas. It was one of the funnest fights that I've ever fought. She was smart from the outside. She had flurries coming in. She had ground. So, I mean, it's gonna take a lot to top tonight's fight for me because it was just the most exciting fight. So I'm expecting, Barb. She's not the champion for no reason,
Right.
So I'm sure she's the full package. But I doubt that there's going to be a whole lot that I haven't dealt with yet, especially after tonight, because Jennifer Maia was amazing.
Right. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Okay, well, we will let these athletes go.